Today we have Yoav with lending, talking all about lending today, and I can't wait to have him. He's a good friend of mine. I meet him all over at the meetups, and so for all of you out there, anybody who has any questions, whether it be about lending or real estate in general, go ahead and put them in the chat. We'll see if we can get them answered for you. But in the meantime, let me bring in Yoav. Yoav, how you doing today?
Hey, good evening. Doing well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, doing great. So, first off, I want to say thank you for coming on here with me. All right, and thank you for, sharing your knowledge with, all the people that I have in our community, as well as this is streaming to my YouTube channel, Randy Steadwell on YouTube. So if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And it was horrible, but whatever. So, anyways, with that being said, hopefully I introduced you right. What's the name of your lending company? I couldn't remember it. I didn't want to butcher it. So,
thank you, Randy, for having me. First of all, the name of the company is Greenblock, and we're at www.greenblockinc. That's inc.com.
Awesome. I really appreciate it. That's really great. Now, you guys do a mixture of hard money. Do you do private money as well? Tell me about what all you guys do as well.
Sure. So we started out as hard money lenders. When somebody approached us for a loan, we didn't even know if we could lend or not, if it was legal. Talked to a few lawyers, turned out it was, and started out just doing hard money. Now we've kind of transitioned into more long-term loans as well. So we're still doing the original short term for fix and flips, but also doing 30-year fixed rate stuff as well now.
Okay, so you guys are pretty much almost a one-stop shop at the moment.
Yeah.
So when you get your hard money lender from here and you want to refinance and get into the longer term stuff, you just go straight to it.
Exactly. We have a lot of clients actually who do just that. They find a property that has a value add proposition. So they come to us for the short term, and then we just refinance them into 30-year debt, and they put a renter in there, and it's really convenient for them.
Now, we can get probably a little bit further into it a little bit later, but what do you see as far as the structure of, how things are going right now with the market, with the interest rates the way they are? So I know that's a big, tall and ask. We just covered just a little bit of it right now, and then we'll go a little bit deeper into it a little bit later.
Sure. So I'm sure most of your viewers know that rates have just been going up and up and up and up over the last few months. I think it started in March of this year. They've kind of paused briefly, but we think there are a couple of rate hikes still in the works, and so we're just kind of waiting. And the market is also shifting in lending, but I'll get into that later.
Okay, that's awesome. So all right, now I want to kind of know your origin story a little bit. So we're in the beginning of the show, and I kind of like to do a little bit like a beginning, middle, and end, and future. I don't want to say end because it's never the end. So beginning, middle, future. So tell me where you got started, how you got started into real estate. Obviously this probably wasn't your first career, and you probably didn't come across this, out of the womb like this. So tell me your origin story.
I'm going way back, probably more info than your viewers want. But I've always been a car guy, and no matter what I did, I wanted to somehow relate it to cars. Got a bachelor's degree and basically I took an economics class and loved it, which had nothing to do with cars, kind of strangely. And so I stuck with it and graduated after like 7 or 8 majors. But it wasn't really my passion. Cars were my passion.
Gotcha.
And so I decided to go back and get another bachelor's degree, this time for car design. And so I went back, got a second degree, and became a car designer, which was awesome. And I loved it. While I was going to school to become a car designer, I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and it was before the Great Recession. And so property values were just going crazy. And so I decided to buy a condominium, and I wound up house hacking before it was a thing. I rented the second bedroom to a classmate with a no doc loan, which was awesome because I was a student and wouldn't have qualified. Right. Turned that into a single family, 3-bed, rented 2 bedrooms. And then I graduated and the Great Recession happened and it was terrible and all that. But managed to hold on to that property and another property that I'd bought in Venice Beach at the time. Wound up selling that house, the one that I was living in, moved to Venice Beach. Basically, to make a long story epic, met my wife. She wanted to start a flipping business because she wasn't in love with her job. And so I was like, go for it. I have a job. We're doing well. So she did that. When we were ready to sell the Venice place, she wound up rehabbing it. And that's kind of how we got her start. We ended up buying some properties through the tax sale here in Michigan, totally coincidentally. Never knew that we would live here, and flipped them from California while we were still there. Never saw them, never held the keys. And it went well. I wound up getting a job here, again, coincidentally, wound up moving. We never had a flip go wrong until we were actually living here, which was kind of a surprise. But one day, to get to the meat of the story, somebody approached us for a private loan. And as I said earlier, we didn't know if it was legal, if we could do it, what the options were. And fortunately, it was a pretty small loan, so not too much risk. But we were advised that we could absolutely do it. And, kind of these were the terms we needed. And, this was the usury rate and don't go above that. So we wrote a loan, and then we wrote another one, and it kind of snowballed. And that's kind of what got me here today.
Wow. That's awesome. So you said you got started in lending as far as by giving a private money loan to, was it a friend of yours?
No, it was just somebody that we met through the RIAs. And with every kind of experience, you get either a profit or a lesson, an education. In this case, our first loan wound up, or our first client wound up defaulting. Fortunately, the loan wasn't too big. So the first few loans, we made a few mistakes, but we learned from them and kept going.
Just like any true wholesale deal, honestly.
Yeah.
So now, how did you, so you said your wife wanted to do some fix and flipping from California all the way out here. How did you guys manage those flips from California to here? Did you have a good crew? Tell me about that experience.
I think that, you hit it on the head. I think that we got, part of it was luck. We had a great crew working. And so, I think that I'd love to say, oh, well, I did it all, I picked the right people and the right contractors and all that. But the truth is that there was a lot of luck involved. I think we did pick good people and we still work with them in some capacity today. So it was great, but I think a lot of it was just luck and perseverance and talking to a lot of people and kind of getting the right feeling.
Oh, most definitely. So all that being said, how did you go from the default on the first lending to where you are now?
I think that, you kind of have to have relatively deep pockets when you're starting out because you are going to make mistakes. The key is being able to bounce back. So to answer your question directly, it was a really small loan. Basically, they were doing Airbnb arbitrage, and they suggested the interest rate, which was really high, which, to be honest, is what attracted us. But but they mismanaged it, and it all fell apart. And so, the loan wasn't even collateralized. But yeah, I mean, it was a really, it was $10,000, so it was a really small loan. And
gotcha.
Not that 10,000 is nothing, but I think most investors can survive something like that and walk away and write another loan. So
yeah, I mean, if you're getting into it as a lender, $10,000 is not a lot of money for a lender. Right. So, and that's where I want to say $10,000 is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong to anybody, but if you're getting into the lending business, that's relatively small. So that's really cool. And I just want to take a quick shout out to my buddy Gary Corbin. It doesn't show his name in here because he's on the group, but it's he just wanted to say hi to both of us. So
hey Gary.
Now he does a lot of fix and flips in the Detroit area. So and now, how did you get more traction with the lending business? Was it just word of mouth?
Yeah.
Did you advertise?
Yeah, so we've actually never spent $1 on marketing or advertising. It's all been word of mouth. As you and probably many of your viewers know, I'm fairly active on Facebook, replying to comments and answering questions. I think to start out, people have to trust you and trust your name. And so just, paying for advertising to me didn't seem like the right way to go. I like to get out there and meet people and hear their stories and what they need so that I can serve them better and give them good service. But yeah, we've never spent $1 on advertising, and that may change in the near future, but we'll see.
Yeah, most definitely. I completely agree with you on that. You got to put a face to the name to be able to trust them. And, I go to a lot of the RIAs around town here, and I always see you. So, it's, it's always a good thing when, you have a presence in the area where you want to be. Now, do you do currently, do you do a lot of flips or any flips at all, or is it just lending?
So we haven't done a flip, I think, since either 2019 or 2020. We're not averse to them, but except for, I would say, rentals or investment properties that we can hold long term, we're not actively looking for deals. We've also narrowed our geography quite a bit. So we're only looking in a couple of really specific areas that we like.
Okay, only certain areas. Like, what areas are those that you do like?
We like Ypsi Township a lot. We like Ypsi too, but the taxes are higher in Ypsi.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we like areas that are kind of geographically convenient to us.
Okay.
We used to buy all over Michigan, and we still have rentals all over Michigan, but at the end of the day, if you can get the cash flow that you're looking for and it's close to you, then why not? And so we're pretty much focused on Ypsi Township right now.
Yeah, and Gary is asking any particular areas in Detroit, and if so, why?
We still lend in Detroit, but we haven't bought in Detroit in a long time. So I'm probably not the best person to ask. I really, really like the University District. But everybody likes the University District.
Brings in money.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's expensive, and it's solid and isn't transitional in any way. I think there's a lot of, I don't know if value anymore, but it's solid. So
yeah,